Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. This was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with this. So 2 BRICS countries settle oil trade in local currency, ditch the US dollar. All right, retail sector, it's time to ditch the US dollar, sell all your dollars and jump into crypto assets, gold and silver and this and no. Listen, we have seen these articles over and over again now. It's almost becoming apparent that, anything and everything that can be said about the US dollar and how the dollar is dead and it's going to crash tomorrow and this and that is kind of being recycled at this point in time. It almost seems like every single day now, the US dollar is being ditched. And listen, do I think that this is happening? Yeah, 100%. Listen, this is all created, right? Like this is all by design. This is what they want. I've said this 100 times on this channel at this point. I sound like a broken record. But the reason why I bring this up is because like a lot of people are sitting there and saying like, why is the US doing nothing at this point? Because they want this to happen. This is all self-inflicted, right? And the dollar right now, for the most part, is up only. For like, I think it's 9 days in a row now. 9 daily candles of just green. And when we look at that, right, like that's short term. But long term, is the US dollar in trouble? I don't think so, right? I think as we really kind of take a step back, let's look at a few other articles. This one. This was from the 15th. This one was from the 17th, so 2 days before BRICS, India, and Saudi Arabia begin discussions to ditch the US dollar. So this is a big one because obviously with Saudi Arabia, you have the petrodollar. The petrodollar is like the only thing the US dollar is actually really kind of tied to in terms of tangible value. Outside of that, we're kind of living in fantasy land, right? But they're looking at how to settle cross-border transactions with their respective native currencies. It's definitely interesting, but for the most part, what I'm really kind of looking at with this is change, right? Like we're on the cusp of a massive transformative push with finance. What do you see? The two sides have started discussing this. It is only at a discussion stage. Proposals and concept notes have been exchanged. The Saudi side is aware that we have worked out similar arrangements with other countries in the region. The two leaders expressed their satisfaction at the volume of trade both countries have reached, India being the second largest trading partner of Saudi Arabia and Saudi being the fourth largest trading partner of India. So very interesting. And at the same exact time, what we seen was another article. This was on the 15th. This was the same date that this one got posted. And what do you see? BRICS. India negotiating with over 20 countries to ditch the US dollar. And all of them are here, as you guys do see. It's very interesting, right? Like at a time where we are seeing the US in a weak position, everyone is like even in crypto, if you're not in crypto, this doesn't really pertain to anyone, but in crypto, we're like, what's going on with regulators in the US? They're holding back crypto innovation. They don't want crypto innovation. They're not adopting this technology. Like, are they just trying to fall behind? Like, what's going on? And then, like, outside of crypto, most people are probably not even aware of what's happening with the BRICS. And if they are looking at what's happening with the BRICS, they're questioning, like, everything. They're like, what is going on? Like, is this, like, a big problem? It's this, that. Like, what's really happening here is a classic scenario of, creating a problem, getting a reaction to the problem, and then having the solution. And I've said this a million times already on this channel. But the reason why I say it is because we are at a very big moment in time. And it's going to take some time. But what I've said over on Twitter was, I said, I think the biggest thing about instant settlement is the elimination of reserve currencies. Because this is the thing that everyone's focused on with the BRICS is, well, if the US dollar falls, what's going to be the next reserve currency? But that's the problem. Nobody's actually thinking outside of the cliche thought process alongside with this. Like, what if we don't have reserve currencies? And people are like, well, can that really work? Can that really happen? Yes, it can. We've outlined this on this channel. I said, so let's build on top of this statement. Reserve currencies are crucial for reducing exchange rate risk when making international transactions. Pause. When we look at that, right? Why is there risk associated with international transactions? Well, it's the time to settlement. Those prices could change. Transaction rates could change. Things can change. But what if you have instant settlement, right? Because reserve currencies are held in central banks to reduce that risk and have the ease of transaction settlement. But when you eliminate 3 to 5 day settlement times and you have instant settlement, well, it eliminates the exchange rate risk completely. This will also eliminate the need for a reserve currency. And I even said this is the world we are headed into. The question remains, though, what will be the settlement mechanism? I think most of you could probably come to that conclusion. And listen, even if it's not XRP, maybe it's XLM, right? Maybe it's HBAR. We don't know. That's why we really kind of put our money where our ideas are, right? And the ideas come from the documents that we've gone over, the research that we've gone over. Like, we're kind of rolling the dice here, but the connections are obvious to some of the global major names out there that have become very substantial names around the financial world. But also look inside of Ripple, right? Like, Ripple is a company, because again, like, listen, we're not tying XRP to Ripple. Like, Ripple's not XRP, XRP is not Ripple. But here we have Ripple as a company. Tokenizer put together this connections map. And when you really kind of look at this map, all right, at the forefront, these are all the board of directors. These board of directors come from substantial backgrounds. Let's first start with Chris Larsen, the founder. Going back to 1992 to 2005, he was working at a digital P2P lending marketplace. Then we look at the foreign attorney, the DoD board. He was a lecturer at a college as well. Council on Foreign Relations. Then, of course, we have banking over there. We have, major background here. You have BlackRock there. You have Morgan Stanley. You name it. Then, of course, we have the CFO at Amazon, EA CFO at LiveRamp. You have the Obama-Clinton organization as a senior advisor with the presidential office in the U.S. Department of Labor, Denton's Global Advisory. Then, of course, Rosie Rios, which, do we even really need to bring her name up? 43rd U.S. Treasurer, U.S. Department of Treasury as well. Then, Chief of Regulatory Affairs, 31 years at JP Morgan, Advisory Committee at the FDIC as well. And then, Legal Counsel, SBI, financial services company from Japan, Ripple partner. As we look at a lot of these players, these are not just small-time people. These are people that come from very large backgrounds where they're not just leaving any of these positions just to go over to a company that might fail or might, go bankrupt, if you will. Listen, yes, there's bad jobs out there. There's people that go to jobs and maybe it doesn't work out, but this is a company that has some of the heavy hitters, the biggest heavy hitters out there. And then also talk about some of the expansions that have happened. Like, recently we've seen a big update around Ripple. And this one actually includes XRP, Ripple with Tranglo and SBI. Remember, Tranglo is a key player here. We do see Ripple, Tranglo, and SBI Remit have announced a joint venture. SBI Ripple Asia, the primary focus of this collaboration is to introduce Ripple's XRP-enabled remittance solution to bank accounts in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia starting this month. Since 2017, SBI Remit has harnessed Ripple's technologies for cross-border transactions and in 2021 introduced a unique Ripple-powered crypto solution for money transfers between Japan and the Philippines. The expanded service targets countries with large remittance corridors, and that's a key one there. Partnering with Tranglo, the initiative will use XRP as an intermediary currency for speed, cost efficiency, and enhanced scalability in global transactions. Now, listen. As we see the world of payments and transactions changing, because listen, they are getting faster. Payments are getting faster, but the settlement layer has not gotten faster. This is also why we still need to hold reserve currencies. This is why we still have that. But as you guys do see, things are accelerating. all right, well, what's going on? Like, what's going to happen next? Well, this is all building up. This is all pressure building up. We're waiting for the infrastructure layer to be there. We're, waiting to achieve instant settlement around cross-border payments. And then right then and there, I think things are going to change rapidly. I think that we're out of the idea of reserve currencies. Reserve currencies have failed. Reserve currencies don't work. I think that David Schwartz kind of talked a little bit about this as well, and a lot of people were saying, like, is XRP the next reserve currency? No. We don't need a reserve currency. That's the thing. Like, once we achieve instant settlement, we don't need a reserve currency. This is where we level the playing field globally. We no longer are tied to reserve currencies. We could possibly have CBDCs, but CBDCs are not going to be reserve currencies. That's going to be a more decentralized manner of having every nation on their own currencies, held accountable for their own currencies. Like, this is where things start to change rapidly. And then again, you question, like, what's going to be at the center point of all those CBDCs? What's going to be at the center point settling all of that? Well, that's where we really kind of bring up the question, is it XRP? Is it XLM? Is it this? Is that? But we do know that for well over a decade, Ripple has been here, connecting the dots with some of the heaviest hitters out there. And also, XRP is exposed because Ripple chose XRP. They chose XRP and they streamlined XRP adoption in the institutional grade sector and also even the enterprise grade sector. Now, outside of this, right, we also go over here to Chad Steingraber's post regarding Tranglo, because recently Tranglo did expand, which we talked a little bit about. And here we have Tranglo connected to SBI Remit powers Do It Now Malaysia. Do It Now connects to Kuwait. XRP is used in all cases for cross-border transfers. No SWIFT, no dollar, new rails, new world. And listen, you might think that it's all hype, but they are transforming global payments. Like, XRP is truly transformative, and it's disrupting key areas of interest. And one of the some of the biggest problems around cross-border payments are outlined here, like high transaction fees, too many intermediaries, lengthy settlement periods. These are the problems, and this is also why we need reserve currencies. But outside of this, like, we are seeing change, which brings about global change, and we're seeing internal change in a lot of these countries where they are saying, like, well, listen, the technology is here. We can adopt this technology and eliminate the use of the US dollar. Why do we need the US dollar? We're not seeing the US dollar ditched because, oh, let's try to kill the US. No. First off, a lot of these nations are moving against the US dollar because for the longest time, the US dollar has been utilized as a financial weapon. They're done using it. And now's the best time to stop using it because the technology is here. And we also know, right, like, Ripple owns 40% stake in Tranglo. They acquired this back in 2021. It uses XRP as a digital native asset to the XRP ledger to bridge two currencies without going through the traditional intermediaries. It's key. It's crucial. Now, when we look at that report up there, 99% of survey respondents would consider using a digital asset to instantly process cross-border payments. 40% of respondents rank speed as a top 3 strength of blockchain technology in cross-border payments. And we already know from a lot of the recent reports from Ripple that blockchain technology around payments, blockchain-powered payments, well, it's become the big focus point now from all finance leaders. We are at the turning point here, folks. And here you guys have from Tranglo with Ripple. Tranglo partners with Ripple to provide accessible and equitable financial services to the public. Really building on their original goals anyways to have an inclusive financial system. You guys have Tranglo, one of Asia's leading cross-border payment hubs, providing 25 countries with technology that makes cross-border transactions faster, affordable, and more secure. Goal: to empower a global community with access to fair-priced, user-friendly, and reliable cross-border payment services. The solution? Well, it's Ripple. And by the way, like, Tranglo has already gained access to more than 100 financial institutions and partners globally, and we already know that Ripple has, they really entrenched themselves in the FX market. 90% of the FX market. That's big. That's huge. Because when you look at what's happening around even the reserve currency status, reserve currencies are mainly utilized in foreign exchange transactions. The plan is already in place, in my opinion. It really is. And even when you look at, like, the recent SBI expansion, right? This is all to do with Tranglo. Like, Tranglo is the key here. And it all utilizes XRP. This is why we are seeing major change. And also even with SWIFT, right? Because the US dollar is being ditched. Well, guess what? SWIFT is predominantly US powered. This is a US network. And I even said if SWIFT really wants to retain its role in the global economy, it needs to start collaborating with private players like Ripple. MasterCard CEO mentioned how SWIFT could be phased out in the next 5 years. Remember the quote, adapt or die. The world is changing and these global giants need to start planning their next move strategically. And they do. Ripple's not competing with SWIFT. They don't have to. Like, listen, it's like a bicycle. And instead of the bicycle, well, now you have a motorcycle. Is the motorcycle going to compete with the bicycle? No. The bicycle is going to try to keep up with the motorcycle. And that's exactly what's happening here. You have Ripple and SWIFT, where Ripple is obviously much more faster, is much more efficient. It doesn't need to compete because guess what? It's already won. Ripple has already won this argument. It's up to SWIFT to accommodate for this technology. It's up to SWIFT to tap into this technology. And listen, if SWIFT wants to use Ripple, then hey, that's great. That's awesome. Because guess what? That's 11,000 financial institutions, banks, you name it, tapped in. That's big. That's big. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.